Everybody knows. Transgender Love Stories by Giselle Renarde. Read by Giselle Renarde. Hot Oil Treatment by Giselle Renarde. I had to ask my girlfriend's opinion before I put pen to paper. It's not that I'm particularly needy, or that I bow to her beliefs, or that I couldn't remember which of our sexual experiences impacted my life most deeply. It's more that my satisfaction is inextricably tied to hers. If my sweet hasn't taken pleasure in an experience, then it isn't terribly significant to me, even if I come 40 times. Orgasms used to be the end goal, especially when I was younger, but they've always been a dime a dozen for me. These days, sex isn't about coming. It's about being close to the woman I love. There are a lot of sexual experiences I could write about because they were scandalous or sensational or would make for titillating confessions, but I'd rather share something close to my heart. When my girlfriend and I started dating, I lost friends. People near and dear to me called her a freak, a pervert, a deviant. They couldn't handle my romantic involvement with someone who identified as a male-to-female transsexual. It's a shame their fears and prejudices prevented them from discovering what an amazing girl Sweet is. Generally speaking, I wouldn't advocate outing a trans partner to the reading public, but I do have Sweet's permission. She finds it empowering that I share not only our sex, but our love on my blog and in my body of work. She says my transgender fiction humanizes people like her, so she's happy to appear in print, even if it is through the filter of my pen. I asked Sweet which of our sexual encounters she thought I should write about in this essay, and her responses charted the entire course of our relationship so far. First, she said, "Write about sucking my toes." Actually, I knew she was going to say that. We've been together just shy of 7 years, and already we've become repetitive and predictable and repetitive. Did I mention repetitive? It might seem like a small thing, but the first time I sucked Sweet's toes was also the first time we did anything overtly sexual. Sex did not come easy for us, not in the beginning. I was incredibly attracted to her, but she rebuked my advances. Before Sweet could give herself to me, she needed to feel confident that I viewed her as a woman and an individual, that I wasn't fetishizing her gender expression or thinking of her as a cross-dresser. She didn't want to provide just another lurid experience for my shocking little list. That's why the toe-sucking was so significant. Before that day, I'd only ever kissed Sweet once, on my balcony. She didn't say anything at the time, but the next day she told me it made her feel weird and uncomfortable. I persevered, not because I wanted to force her into a sexual relationship, but because I had a suspicion she would blossom even more fully into the woman she'd always been on the inside. All she had to do was open herself to something new. When I kissed her on the toe-sucking day, she let me do it. If I'm not mistaken, she even kissed me back. I touched her arms with just my fingertips, and she shivered. I asked, "Is this okay?" And she nodded. She was leaning, fully dressed, against the side of her bed. I touched her thighs and listened to her breath grow shallow. I thought she'd tell me to stop, but she didn't. I sank to the floor and unbuckled her shoes. I took off her socks.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?